Okay guys, we're back at the cabin. We're going to be working on the spiral stairs again today. Today we're going to get started on the handrail. So, if you remember last time we were out here, we got the final tread up in here. And we opened up the joist and reframed so we could get up through the floor. Because originally I didn't plan on putting a spiral staircase. It was something we decided halfway through. So I've had several ideas on how we can proceed with this, because we got to get something that curves with the steps. So we could mill up some lumber, glue it all together in the curve, and make it like a glue up. But I think I want something a little more natural. So what I'm gonna try is I'm gonna try to go out in the woods and find a sapling, a smaller tree, maybe 2.5 inches in diameter, that will either easily bend, or maybe I'll get lucky and I'll find something that's already starting to bend. Maybe something, tree fell on it, it's been deformed. Maybe it's already got a curve started in it. That's what I really want to find, and that will help to get the curves that we need. So I'm going to find 2 pieces, one for the bottom of the handrail and one for the top, and then we're going to tie those together with spindles. So let's go out and see what we can find. I've been working at adding a little bit more to the dam. That again is a process. Every time I have a pile of dirt, I kind of bring it back and add to it. Had a storm overnight. I cleaned up a bunch already, but we got to clean up the sticks for the overflow, make sure it doesn't get plugged up. Draining pretty good down there, but I'll have to find the perfect sapling. All right guys, I'm out here in my woods and I think I found what I'm looking for. I'm thinking this will be good for the top rail at least. I could probably get something a little straighter for the bottom, because I'm gonna be screwing that into the treads, trying to make that a little more sturdy anyways. It's very sturdy as it is, but I want to just make sure that it stays that way. So the more support I can give it by adding that down towards the tip of the tread, I think adding those triangles will strengthen it up even more, and I'll never have to have an issue with it. So let me get this cut back down and we'll take it back to the cabin. So here's my plan so far. I've got 2 ratchet straps connected to the bottom of this. As I pull one tight, then I can sit there and loosen the other one, and when I get the first one tight, I can start tightening up the second one and then loosen the first one again. I got the same thing going on here in the middle to that post. Down here I'm connected to a piece of rebar I've got sticking out of my slab down there. And up here it's wedged against the wall, which I'll end up taking a ratchet strap up there eventually and start pulling that in if this works. So I tried to videotape the whole process, but it's going to be a long process. Okay, so I have this one tight right now. So now I'm going to tighten up this one and we're just going to take turns with it. Now you see, as I tighten up this one's loosening up. So once I get a few more cranks on this one, I'll loosen the first one all together, pull the slack out, and we'll do the same thing. But I'm going to work both these at the same time. So next I'll go down here and I'll tighten this one once I get these two both tight up here. Well, I still have a long ways to go on this. And I'm going to consider this a failure. You see there, it's starting to break and crack. Yeah, I think if I just keep going with it, I don't think it's going to have the give I need. So I'm going to try a different method. We're going to consider this did not work. Well, obviously, I've thought about this for months. So I did have other options. My next choice was to find a mature grapevine out in the woods and pull it down from a tree. And surely that would have the give that I needed to get around that spiral staircase. So, fingers crossed, let's hope that this works. Using the same technique as I was trying to use with that sapling, I'm using these ratchet straps to hold it in place. It seems to be working so far. I'll take and drill a 1/2-inch hole into the tops of these at the top of every tread and use my construction screws to fasten them. I feel using this technique will add more rigidity to the stairs as we tie the handrail in. Now that I've got the bottom rail fastened into the stairs, I created this knoll post for the bottom, which I cut out a little chunk in the bottom so it would sit and overlap the stairs. And using my tenon cutters that we've used in past episodes, I'm able to put a tenon on the grapevine and into the knoll post. You'll also see I had 2 shorter pieces of grapevine that I used here and put a tenon in a hole with my Forstner bit to connect these to bring it all the way up to this top step. Now the first step to adding the top handrail is going to be gluing up this knoll post that we created a little bit ago. In order to get a good bond, I'm going to spread the glue out with a paintbrush on both the holes and the tenons. Now that we got that glued up, I'll insert the tenon into the hole on the bottom, followed by the top rail. And now back to my little helpers, the ratchet straps. This is going to pull the knoll post tight at the bottom of the step, and we're going to pull it plumb with the upper ratchet strap as I get ready to fasten the bottom of the stair tread to this bottom's tread. For this, I'm going back to a 1/2-inch drill, which is the size of the head of my construction screws. And I'm going to drill in several places at different angles to fasten it on securely. This should give it the structural support it needs at the bottom of the railing. In addition to the glue at the tenons, I'm also using a finish screw, which is a screw with a really small head that countersinks into the wood, kind of like a trim nail would. So it's starting to take a little bit of shape. I went out to one of those trees I cut down in earlier episodes and started cutting off 3-foot pieces, which I cut a tenon at the bottom of them and fit them, cut the top, and slid them in. Here's an example of what I had done. This one's already cut, but this is how I installed it. First, I put the glue in where the tenon's going to be, and then taking the tenon, I use a hammer or a mallet to set the bottom into place, being that they were semi-tight joints. Then I was able to slide and tap the top of it into place. After that, I secured the bottom with a short 1.5-inch finish screw, and then followed at the top with a 2.5-inch trim screw to hold the top in place with the glue. This held everything together quite well. Very happy with the way it's turned out. Still have a little bit of work to do. Clean up the knoll posts, put some finishing varnishes on it, but I have to say, I couldn't have expected it to turn out any better. This is exactly what it looked like in my head. And I hope you enjoyed watching my journey building the spiral staircase. If you did, please subscribe, share, like, tell your friends. Thanks for watching. And I hope you continue to watch my journey. I've got lots of great ideas to share with you. Thanks, guys.